This is The Hunters of Herne, a Dungeons & Dragons 5e campaign set in the homebrewed world of Great Ashling, as we follow the journey of 3 young monster hunters on their journey to become legendary. We are starting at the Castle Herne on the west coast of the mainland in Regan itself. In Castle Herne, it is Candlemas, which is the 1st of February, the start of spring, and being where you are in the middle of the Dead Forest, it's incredibly quiet. And this is the evening. This is the evening before. So this is the end of January. Candlemas is the 1st of February, and you guys know that the 1st of February in Candlemas is the start of the Wild Hunt. You guys, as hunters, Candlemas.
I was in like Christmas.
Yeah, Candlemas. A lot of these are pagan festivals. I just robbed pagan festivals.
Okay.
So the start of spring is tomorrow, and you know that is the Wild Hunt. You guys have been training for essentially all your time since you individually arrived at Castle Herne to become hunters. You all found your own individual ways here, as with everybody that is in Castle Herne. You've been going through training to be ready for this day, and this day doesn't come around very often for the hunters. There's not many hunters around. You don't know the full number. You've seen many pass through in the summers and winters as they come back from their journeys and regale you tales when you were kids of monsters that they'd killed and things that they've observed. Those of you that are more into the study and the history will have heard better recounts as these guys, the hunters, when they come back, explain what they found in the world and what they're seeing and how the movements go. And as hunters, they track the movement of the world and what's been going on. But yeah, this night before the big day, your wild hunt, you've been getting yourself prepped, you've been told you were ready, and this is a special day for the hunters because it's the first time they've ever sent 3 hunters out on the wild hunt at the same time. Normally they see one, and it's not every year that they send somebody out. When you, in your different aspects of where you've been kind of training, you've each had a kind of a bit of a mentor from one of the masters or grandmaster hunters that are there as they get you through your training. And this evening, as you prep, get yourself ready, each of your mentors comes to see you one by one. Would anybody like to go first? No?
Aye, I'll go first.
So, oh god, I haven't got your name up. Saffron. And so your name is Saffron?
Aye.
Saffron. Saffron, you, as you're in your quarters, getting your stuff ready, checking your gear, checking your pack, making sure you've got everything that you need for the hunt, Nodin comes to see you, knocks on your door. Nodin is the head hunter. He is the Grandmaster hunter, the leader at the moment. And whilst they're a leader, it's a cult where everyone kind of looks after themselves, but there's certain hunters that have achieved this rank of Grandmaster or Master that do a bit more of the training. Nodin is a Goliath, quite a big, would have been a barbarian, big, strong fighter in his time, but is now, as he's got older, he's covered in scars, he's a bit more chilled out, relaxed. And he comes and knocks on your door. He's like, Saffron.
Aye.
How are you feeling, son?
Well, it's what we've been training for, eh?
Okay. Would you like to describe your character?
So, Saffron is Dragonborn. I'm about 20 years old, about 6 foot, a wee Scottish accent. His actual surname is Amteth, Saffron Amteth. Don't forget that. Amteth. Amteth. He's a silver dragon, so silver in complexion, means he deals with a bit of ice, comes from mountainous background, and he is quite a calm character, obviously quite powerfully built just because of his race, but he wears like a black kind of cape, kind of nothing showy, nothing fancy, and kind of looks like he's got a point to prove, I suppose.
Cool. So yeah,
Nodding comes to sit down with you. He's Saffron, I know it's a big day. I'm glad you are ready for the fight you're packing yourself, but I wanted to speak to you about what the world is like outside of the castle. As you know, here with your brothers, we are quite safe, and everyone is welcome. We've got all sorts here, but you will experience some trouble out on the road. You, as a Dragonborn, as you know, you may have picked up, you are the only Dragonborn here at Castle Herne. This is something you'll experience a lot in Regan, so just be prepared. You may have people very inquisitive and happy to see you and come in, but the hunters, you know, we're not always as well received as we'd like to be. So just be aware that when you're out there, that you may experience a few more stares than you're being used to here, where your presence has been known and been loved for all. But yes, it's just one thing to bear in mind.
I get it. I understand what's going on. I've heard the stories, but you know, until we go out there, I don't really know what to expect, and I'm open-minded. I know we're going with Berich. He's told us quite a lot, and 200 years old. You don't think you should know a thing or two? So
this is a good attitude you have, but it's just for you to be aware. Be open-minded, and this is our job when we're going out. This is part of the wild hunt. This is part of the hunters, is to spread a positive reputation. But I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of what you were going through.
I'm ready.
And he's like, I'm glad to hear you're ready. And this is why I have a little surprise for you. And this is when he goes back outside the door and comes in holding a mace and a shield. And he's like, these are your weapons. This is what you require for the wild hunt. These have been tailored just for your suffering. And he hands them over. He's like, they will serve you well out as a hunter. And if you use them well, I'm sure you'll be back soon, bringing us tales of your wild hunt. I can't wait to see. If I tell you my money's on you bringing back the best of the wild hunt, okay? I shouldn't be telling you this, but we've got a bit of a bet going on between which three of you is going to bring back the best hunt. It's very exciting for 3 people to be going out on the wild hunt, you know.
Thank you so much. I don't know what to say. I've never been given anything like this. We'll do you proud. We'll do you proud.
Good. I know you will. But remember, you get the biggest one because my money's on you. He pats you in the back and goes, okay, don't get too drunk tonight because we're leaving early in the morning tomorrow. We'll ring the bells, but just be careful out there.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you've done.
No, you will. We'll repay us back, don't you worry.
I'll try.
Bids you night and disappears off, giggling to himself as he runs down the hallway. We'll go around the table. Rogue. You are, again, much the same in your room, prepping yourself, making sure your pack's ready, making sure that you've got the little ones you've been using to make sure you control, remembering your exercises to contain your magic and how it goes. And there's a knock at the door as one of the younger apprentices knocks and says, Aristeas is waiting for you in the library. Could you come?
Aristeas? Do I know Aristeas?
Yeah, Aristeas is the master of teaching.
Oh, so he's not the London guy?
No.
Okay,
No. Aristeas is another one of the master, not the head, but one of the masters. And you spent a lot of time with Aristeas. Aristeas is a Furbolg, so kind of part giant, part Goliath, very hairy, very soft-spoken, well-mannered female Furbolg. Aristeas, and she has been
talking.
Your master in teaching. Herself is a wizard, has learned a lot about magic and the use of learning and scribing magic, and has helped you a lot with understanding your magic and controlling your magic. And whilst it's different to hers because it's not learnt, yours is imbued. She's been your kind of guide and your mentor around your control and trying to make an understanding and get that feeling for who you are and where your place is in terms of that magic.
What's her race?
Furbolg. Furbolg.
Gotcha. Alright then, I'll come with you. What Aristeas wants, she gets.
Perfect. So you know where the library is, where the teaching hall is, and you make your way down there, knock on the door and walk in. She's like, Rogue, good to see you. Come in. How are you doing? How is your preparation going?
Do you know what? I'm absolutely fucking shitting it.
You're as eloquent as ever. I'm sure you will be, but remember everything you've learned. You are very ready for this. We wouldn't have put you forward for the Wild Hunt if we didn't believe in you.
Yeah, but I know. Look, I totally understand your teachings, and I'm fucking totally grateful for it. But like, look at me. I'm airy as hell.
As am I.
But I'm soft. Like, I'm worried that if something gets a bit pokey, bit odd, a bit spicy, I ain't gonna know how to do myself.
You remember your training. You know how to hide. You're right. Don't go into the pokey things. Rogue, stay away from the poke. Remember.
All right then. Right, no, remember, no pokey things. Use the hands. Use the special things that you know how to do. Dodge the pokey things.
Keep control and use your magic where it's required. We've been through this, yeah, you'll be fine. But yes, you are lucky in that you are actually going out with others. So remember, work as a team. The hunters are a brotherhood. We need to stick together. But I may have something to help. And she's like, come here. And she's like, give me a hand.
I pass over my hand.
We're just looking at you, mate. She puts on a boot. And she goes, this won't hurt too much. And she just, she has a little pin and she just nips the end of the finger. Oh, wait. And then she reaches back and grabs a little vial, just squeezes the end and a few drops in the vial. She closes it off. She's like, perfect. Sort yourself out. I've got something for you to help just with your little worry here. And she turns around and starts like tinkering away. And what she's taken is, what you see is just a small little vial. And she is working away at something on the table. You kind of look over her shoulder. She's working at like what looks like a staff. And she's at the top end of it. So you can see the bottom of it move, and she's at the top end. And she's like, finally. And she turns around and she has in front of her this slender, like hollow staff. It looks like it's almost glass, like beautiful staff. And at the end is this vial with where your blood has just been put inside. And she goes, we have come up with something that I think will help you on your journey. This staff has additional magic, just like your magic. And the vial itself, as long as it has your blood in it, will help as well. So you will learn how to use this in time, but take this now. This will help with your defense.
And is the staff glass made? Is it glass,
Yeah.
you say? Fuck! Would you look at that? Fucking beautiful. It looks bloody lovely, that.
It does.
I can't thank you enough. I hope I don't bloody break it.
You, don't worry. It's there to protect you. And the glass, it's like a metaphor from weakness and strength, and you'll get there in the end, I'm sure, don't worry. But take this. This is yours. Do not lose it. Do not sell it. This will give you the power you need to succeed in your wild hunt.
Right, 3 golden rules. Avoid the pokey things, even though you poked me in my bloody finger, which bloody hurt, by the way. Don't sell it, use it.
Yes.
Right, got ya, I'm on it. Fucking let's be having
And
it.
remember, this is a brotherhood. Work for your brothers. You guys have got a very big task. We've never sent 3 hunters out on a wild hunt before, so there's some noise around the rest of the guys about, potentially who might be coming back with which monster head. So make sure you pick well, but don't get carried away. Remember, as much as some of the fighters like to make fun and have the competition there, we have a very important job, and that is to spread the word of the hunters, to do good where we can, to help people. But of course, that comes at a price. So you are to keep the brotherhood alive, but just remember, don't get carried away, because the poke will kill Rogue.
Poke will kill.
That's your motto.
You obviously got away with your work. Why'd you make everything rhyme all the time?
Well, we've been practicing for such a long time. Right? It becomes easy after time, It's just fun. I think you guys call it cogni rhyming, I'm not sure. And she's like, and just one more thing, Rogue. You'll be, I know we're sending you out towards Glamorgana, and Regan isn't known fully for its all of the races. And myself, as a Furbolg, I come from Easter Boars, but there's Glamorgana and some of the capitals are more, shall we say, human based. So just be aware that, as a bugbear, proud bugbear, that most of your family and kin reside north in Old Nara. Regan, you may find that you are received in a certain way. Just remember what the Brotherhood is there for. We're there to spread a positive reputation for the hunters. And just remember, yes, don't go charging anywhere. Don't get too headstrong.
I've never been that far down south before. Do you think, are they new to charisma? Mine especially, you know what I mean?
If you go in, I'm sure they'll have a whale of a time.
Fucking cannot wait.
Okay, well, make sure you get a good night's rest. Nothing silly tonight. We're leaving early tomorrow. You know, it is the Candlemas tomorrow. You will be left, and then we will wait to see what you return with.
Aristaeus, can't thank you enough as usual. Have a lovely night. Good seeing you.
You have a lovely night, and I'll see you in the morning.
Ciao, ciao.
So you head back, and you have your staff with the blood vial imbued in the top. And it was like, where it like curled round, you can see that she kind of either forced out a gem and forced this one in, but there's work been done on the glass to give it enough to get the blood vial in. So your staff and vial are one as a weapon.
Oh, nice. Like it. Thank you.
With what you can do with the rest of your evening is to spend time attuning to said
I'm
items.
admiring that fucking thing, man. The
It's
glass.
beautiful.
It's like, So Roke is he's a bugbear. So visibly, fair height. I'd probably say around 5'6", 5'8", maybe 6 foot. But very hairy. He doesn't really cover much of it up, so you'll see him dressed a bit like a barbarian, like, you know, leather or something. But the clothing choice is limited. Very hairy, very kind of big looking, but obviously deals in the art of sorcery. So although he looks big, he probably tries to avoid direct contact, tries to talk his way out of things, fairly charismatic, and a bit of a weird dealer, basically. But as you would have seen with his conversation with Aristaeus, it's a bit like we're a bit unsure of his kind of thing. He's still quite young. He's not 200 years old, for example. And you would obviously all know that because you've been training for God knows how long.
And last but no means least, Beric. You are again, like everyone else, prepping, getting ready, remembering everything you know, knowing full well that you're travelling through the forest to start with, making sure that you are ready. You've spent a lot of time actually in the outskirts of Castle Herne, around the forest, as part of your training, and you have worked a hell of a lot with the Master of Combat. The Master of Combat is a man called Ryder. He's a half-elf, and he, again, favours the bow, much like you favoured the bow. And he has been your teacher along the way, and he's with you as you're there, and he's like, Beric, are you ready, son?
Oh yes, definitely ready.
This is going to be a wild ride, okay? The Wild Hunt is the most exciting thing, okay? We've been training for this for bloody ages. So you need to be ready, but, you know, you're going with these guys. They're not ready for your power of the bow, okay? I want you to get out there. I want you to slap. I'm telling you right now, to your face, I've got money on you bringing back the best head of this thing. Me and Noden, we've got money on the table. My money's safe with you, son.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know I've got money anyway. For you to lose, I'll pay you anyway.
Yeah. It's not the point, it's the competition. Come on, Beric, you know the competition. So, you feel like you're prepped, you ready?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
This is perfect. I have one little treat for you, though. And then he reaches to his back and then whips down and he goes, a new bow.
Oh, dashing.
Yeah. This bow. You just imagine, can't you? It's like this bow. Oh, let me tell you something special. It's much like your standard bow. You've used it before, same range, same width. It's perfect, but it's called an oath bow. If you so name somebody that smited you, this bow imbues itself with more damage than you can do. Oh my god, the things you can do with this bow.
I'm getting a bit giddy here.
You must use it lightly though. It's not a power that you just want to wield around and throw around. Okay?
Or willy-nilly.
Yes, exactly, because it can have, you know, if you need to, you become solely tuned on this thing you're fighting, but when you fight this thing, this bow is going to fucking do some damage. Pardon my cussing. Take the bow. And he's like, and also, I got you some new braces.
Oh.
Braces are for your arms.
Yeah. Not brace it. Yeah. You're not in the gentleman's club anymore, mate.
Oh, very, very dashing.
You can have them if you want. He's like, these are the braces that I had when I went on my first wild hunt. I'll give them to you. mainly it's insurance because I want you to win this bet, okay? You're going on the wild hunt with 2 others. It's unprecedented. We're all bloody excited about it. So just make sure you do us proud. But your training has served you well. You are a strong bowsman. You make good decisions. You will need to get these guys through the dead forest. The first part of this journey, the hardest part, and many have failed just leaving the forest.
I'm
So
ready.
your skills are going to be required. Remember to work as a team. We're still a brotherhood. Competition within the brotherhood.
Absolutely. Competition is good.
Yes. So I want you to spend some time with the bow. Make sure you're ready. Just think about how you're going to win me that gold.
Easy money.
Oh, it's going to be an exciting day. Make sure you get your rest. And we will see you in the morning. Do you want to describe Beric? Oh, I didn't do your description either.
To bed, tally ho.
So Beric is a high elf, and I'm a ranger. I'm about 200, which is a young adult in high elf terms. Slender frame, kind of like, those chaps you see without their t-shirt, no fat on them, they're just pure abs and skinny arms.
The motherfucker.
Peter Andre in his heyday.
5'6", very pale. I'm dressed in green. I've now got some very nice new braces on my wrists. Across my back is my oath bow, and hanging down from my hip is a short sword when I want to get up close and personal.
Yes, you guys all are very much aware of each other. You've been training. You all have different areas of expertise, so it's a bit like a curriculum with specialisation. So you'll all get a bit of everything. So you've all sat and you would have all been with Master of Teaching and learning about monsters and about...
Can you run
terrain.
through who was whose again?
Yes.
I can't remember.
So Nodin is the head hunter. He's he's a Goliath, so he's like the chief of the hunters at the moment, and he's a bit like a headmaster.
Yeah.
If you imagine as a school, he doesn't do any teaching, but he's there for welcoming in the new, welcoming back the guys that come back. He's fought with them all before, and he's a long history. He would have fought with Herne a little bit. Ryder is the Master of Combat, is a half elf, and he would have been in charge of most of your combat training. Nodin would have done a little bit of the combat training for those that are a bit more heavy hitters. Ryder is more of a bow and finesse weapon specialist.
Whose sponsor was he? Who did
He is Beric's.
Beric.
And Aristeus, which is A-R-I-S-T.
A-R-I-S-T. Yep.
A-E-U-S.
A-U-S.
Is a Furbolg, and she is the Master of Teaching. She would have been in charge of your history, and that would have been lore about the hunters, lore about the fall and conquest. A lot of almost like your general studies would have been like more religious studies, but based on what's going on in the world and what is your role that you play as a hunter. It's almost like you've been schooled into a job from a very young age. But then she also would have done any magic teaching with you guys to what to look out for, what to watch for, as well as history about monsters and history about the different races and what's going on with people. So you all go to bed that evening, knowing that tomorrow is the start of the Wild Hunt. It is Candlemas itself, the 1st of February, and you will be heading out on the Wild Hunt together. You would have spent some time probably with each other a little bit to work out, what is the Wild Hunt. They would have brought you all together to explain what the point of the Wild Hunt is and where it's going. But it is your kind of coming of age as a hunter. So you are in, as everyone comes in, they come as initiates or trainees, and then as you get more, as you get into your training, and you imagine a lot of children are kind of given to the hunters in different areas and passed on. Some of them are just not ever going to be fit to become hunters. Part of the reason that this was all created as a castle was that children were being gifted into the hunters, and they didn't have a base. They take them on the road, and kids were dying because they were just paired up with hunters at a very young age as like squires, going into forests, going into swamps, going into towns, and they just had a very, very low survival rate. So the idea of Herne getting the castle was that he could actually grow, and he wanted to massively grow who the hunters were. With his death, it kind of stayed at the level of ambition where it is now, where they have a few and you're known across the continent. But you're dwindling in numbers. There's not a huge amount of hunters knocking around. You guys, as you were getting into training, those that were going to go on the Wild Hunt, that were ready for the Wild Hunt, will become apprentices, which is what you guys are now. And on a successful completion of the Wild Hunt, you become hunters, fellow hunters. And then from there, there's levels to go up where you get to Masters and Grandmasters, depending on your skills and what you do in battle. But yeah, this is where you are now. Is your final test to become a hunter, the Wild Hunt. The Wild Hunt is as it suggests, a hunt. You are sent out on the 1st of February, which is Candlemas, and given 2 months to go out and collect a trophy of a hunt. And it's not just any hunt, it's not just about going into the wilderness and taking down a beast, it's about providing a reputation boost to the hunters. So clearing things for towns, helping towns out with monsters that might be plaguing them, clearing trade routes, anything that has that there's a kind of positive reputation for in the end of. You're not just out there stalking the woods looking for the biggest beast to kill. You could do that, but the whole point of the hunt is to show your prowess as hunters, to provide a service back to a village or town. So Glamorgana is the first stop for loads. You've been told that they'll be expecting to see hunters. They always look out for hunters after Candlemas because it's the closest town outside of the Dead Forest. So you'll be expected there. The further you go, the less well known they are, because hunters travel and they make their own way. You're out there with no money to make your way in the world. So it's going to be a tough test.
You got any money?
Got no money.
I've got nothing left.
So yeah, you have 2 months. So by the 1st of May, which is May Eve, the start of summer, so you leave on the start of spring, by the start of summer you need to come back. You can come back as soon as you guys are ready to come back from the wild hunt, and the wild hunt will be tested. Your trophies will be collected, and you'll either pass or fail the wild hunt. But essentially, if you make it back, you hope that that's a pass. So you don't have to do the full 2 months. You can come back before then, but the idea is you have 2 months at least. If you don't come back after 2 months, you probably presume dead. And that's
Those
not
are 2 months.
Yeah, 2 months. So you got from the 1st of February to the 1st of May. Start of spring to the start of summer. And Candlemas isn't just celebrated by you guys. Candlemas is a celebration of Great Ashling itself. It's the start of spring. It's when they do spring cleaning and purification, and it's it's the start of a fresh, hence the initiation of the hunters. So you go to sleep that night in different states of preparedness. You now have your new weapons. You spend time those that need to tune into your weapon, understanding what it does and what it can do, and that time spent teaches you all the different aspects of what that weapon can do. And you awake early, or are awoken early if you don't awake early, on the 1st of February, Candlemas itself, as the rest of the hunters and the trainees that are there are waiting out in the main courtyard for you guys to prep in your appropriate attire, armours, leathers, and with your packs to head out. If there's nothing anyone wants to do, we can proceed straight to you guys being ready. You kind of almost like a bit like a beauty parade. You're held behind the door waiting as everyone's out in the courtyard. You imagine the courtyard of the castle. As well, Castle Herne itself is an old castle. It was an old fort that was lost into the forest, that had not been used by the kingdom for a long, long time. It was part of the deal that Herne made as part of the Fallen Conquest to take some land, and the king bestowed to him Castle Herne in the woods. He wanted somewhere that was secluded that he could use, and this is a castle that sits on mainly swampland. You guys have been out and done a bit of training out around the Deadwood, so the area surrounding Castle Herne is all a deep forest, but a lot of the life is drained out of the trees, and that was due to the creation of the border forest. The natural force was drained from the trees in the forest to create a much bigger forest, the one that runs across the two countries now. So surrounding the castle is swampland, but this castle is on a slight mound, and it is like it's a small castle, but it's like an old fort. So it has the battlements around the outside, and in the middle has its large training area, which we'd have done a nice courtyard in the middle. In the courtyard is all of the trainees and attendants and chefs and initiates that have not made it further than just being squires. And at the front of the stage are the three, the Grandmaster, your three attaches, the heads of the clans, and they welcome you out. And it's Nodin starts with, "And here we are, our wild hunties," and everyone's like, "Whoa!" Yeah, but it's like a really crack crowd. It's like, "Whoa!" It's like 5 people back as they come out. Some of them most of these guys you know, right? You've been training with them, or you know them, or whatever else. As they come out, and you all come out to the front of the stage. And Nodin rushes, "Today is an important day. You will be going out on your wild hunt. You must enjoy the wild hunt, but remember, you're a brotherhood. Whilst the wild hunt is a kind of a competition, you can work together. There is no need to be individually out there taking the best heads, but you know, And he's someone's got to come back with the best head. You know what I'm saying? You've been training long and hard, boys, from when you all joined in your different stages, different areas of training, different backgrounds. But the Brotherhood is one Brotherhood, and we welcome you, and we set you free. And we hope to see you back before the start of summer with your Wild Hunt trophies. Before you leave, we have some treats for you. Some little extra things in there. And one of the little squires comes out with a little bag, and he goes up to each of you one at a time. So he goes up to you, and can you roll a D100, please?
Aye. All of us are doing that.
First roll.
You'll do it one at a time.
Was this class as first
Me
roll?
first. Aye. 96.
96.
Fucking hell, mate.
Aye, big roll.
Okay, cool. So you pull out a token, and it's like a little tiny object. It looks a bit like a feather, but they're made of like a really thin, delicate metal. But it just looks like a feather. You don't know what it is. And he's like, when the time comes, you'll be able to use this. This may come in useful if you know, and you may find out a way of finding out what it does before you need to use it. But keep this token with you. It's special. You have a token. I will note down what token you have.
And who's presenting this thing?
No, didn't do the presentation, but it's just a squire that's come around with a little bag.
Okay.
Aye.
And then
you.
he goes to Roke, the squire.
How do you spell Nodin? N-O-D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
N-O-D-I-N.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
D100.
Bloody hell, we're getting loads of stuff here. 63.
63. Cool. Nice. And again, as you put your hand in, you pull out, it's slightly different to the one you've seen before, but again, this is a very well carved feather. Small token, it's tiny, just a little thing.
What do you mean by token? Is it like
Just like
feather embossed
like a
onto
coin.
something
It's
else?
just like a little coin type thing. It could be like a collectible.
Is this that silver coin you've got in the inventory?
No.
Okay.
Silver coin's just something in there already.
Okay. Feather.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just mark down you've got a token, and then and again he says that these are magical and they will help you maybe at some point, but you will either have to use them and find out, or find a way to find out what they do.
Aye.
It's like a sort of feather design.
71.
71.
So
This worked out perfectly. You've got different numbers, and yep, you again pull out the same. Another well engraved, slightly different. All got slight different differences to them, but they're all just wooden feather tokens.
Oh, wooden token.
Yeah. It's just like a little wooden thing.
I wrote metal on mine.
No, they're wooden. But yeah, you don't know. Tiny object. It's like a little tiny collectible. It's when you are told that they are magical, and you could use them much like a Pokeball. To use an action to throw them out, and they do something. You don't know what they do for now, but there may be ways you can find out what they do, or fucking last ditch, you just throw them and see what the fuck happens. But you must. So just remind me when you're going to use it, because I know what they are, and you don't know what they are.
Do you think this is what numbers we got or not?
No, I don't need numbers. I've got them done. It was just on the thing. Perfect. And we wouldn't want to send you out empty-handed as well. We know the forest. We've been seeing a lot more in the Deadwood. Sorry. There's a rising coming up. It should be good for the hunt. To be fair, there's a lot of we're getting lots of reports. The hunters coming back and telling us there's a lot of movement in the forest. So be careful. This isn't an easy journey. The first journey to Glamorgana. We will point you in your direction. Beric will make sure the direction stays true, and you will reach Glamorgana in 2 days. If it takes more than 2 days, you've got lost. 2 days, but these will be tough days. You need to remember this is your survival training to get through this piece, to get to the safety of Glamorgana. You are. And within your packs, you've been given rations, so you've got enough rations in there, but you get given no gold as part of this. So you all start poor. You will get to Glamorgana. The people of Glamorgana are very expecting and very welcoming of the hunters. So when you make it, I'm sure you'll find work straight away. They love it when we come through. Absolutely love it. But that is your job. Make sure you find some work. Make sure you find some jobs to do. Make yourself useful. Earn some money. Get yourself some trophies. But yes, the forest is dangerous, and we don't want to leave you empty-handed. So he gives you all a potion.
Yay!
Your potions.
Yay! Potions!
potions. I'm thirsty.
Oh, you actually bought them!
Yeah, baby.
Oh! What are these?
Oh wait, you only just have 2 in it. Pass me that one, mate.
No, I want a full potion.
4 one's the big
Mine's
one.
a 3 as well.
Yeah.
Dude, this is cool as fuck.
So there you
I
go.
want the bigger one, Keith.
You want that back?
Mate!
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh shit, I've opened it. Fuck.
Don't let it out. Don't let the juice out.
There's a demon in there! Oh, that's very fun. So, yeah, so you've got a healing potion,
Oh.
and you've been told that you've got
That's so cool.
a 2-day journey towards Glamorgana. So,
You're not going to forget you've got one then, are you?
yes, exactly. Are you ready?
Aye.
Boys, it's time to start the wild hunt. And as he says that, 2 squires open the doors to the castle, and everyone stands aside and lets you guys exit. Is there any conversations that you want to do? You just want to get on the road?
Aye. Beric, you know the way.
Yes, I do. Let's go, gentlemen.
Lead the way.
So you start down. You start off as you get to the breach of the doors, and the doors close down.
Just before those doors close, I'm
Yep.
going to look back to one of the kitchen maids and be like, I'll be back.
What a surprise.
One of them just goes. So yeah, as you pass over the precipice, you hear the bells ringing. Did it? And the bells ring out 3 times. 3 big rings. 1, 2, 3. And these you see as you step out. Always weird because you've been out in these woods lots and you've been hunted, but the first time you step out with the packs, with the doors closing behind you, the bells ring out, the birds rush out from the nearby trees, and a lot of the close area to the castle is more swampland. There's a few trees and bits there. It's from the woods that are a little bit further out that you see things start to raise out, and this bell ring what's out right out into the forest.
Would we have left before? Is this the first time we've
No,
left?
we didn't.
You'd have gone out and gone training in the woods and stuff, but you'd always been with one of the masters. You'd have been trained, you'd have been packs, you'd have been like kind of laughing and joking. The first time that the doors open, the bells ring and the doors close behind you, like doof, you're like, we're on our own. The doors are closed.
Realisation.
Yeah, this you 3 on your own to go out into the world to explore on your wild hunt.
Well, not a very good turnout for a send-off, eh? Let's show
Let's
them.
concentrate on what we gotta do.
So, Rogue and Saffron, what are you thinking?
What would you like to know?
Well, we're going to head to Glamorgana, aren't we?
Yeah?
I think that's what you said, yeah. Let's get there then.
Huh? Well, let's head off then.
Eh?
We've been told you know the way, so let's be having it then.
All right then. Well, I'll be at the front, and we'll just
You know?
start leading the way. Yeah.
Cool. So you start your trek in through the swampland, and as you move and you start your trek for 15-20 minutes, the swampland starts to turn into more forest, but it's still very boggy and swampy. And you'd have all heard as well the stories and lots of one through the actual history lessons of the lore of the hunters, but also just from like people that claim to have seen things that within the swampland there's supposedly 2 dragons. 2 small dragons, a black dragon and a white dragon, that protect the swampland and keep the castle safe. People have always claimed that they've seen these dragons and they move around, but no one's ever sure if you have seen them. If you learn about them, and that's why the sigil of the hunters is the 2 dragons. They meet face to face like a yin and yang. And it's said that these 2 dragons protect the swampland and keep the castle safe from what might be in the forest. The forest is a wild zone. The good thing about being in the forest is you're protected from anyone else in the land. The bad thing is anything in the forest is protected and you could also come after you guys. So you see that. So you make your way through the forest. Can you all give me perception checks, please?
Fuck, I thought I boosted that.
I don't know. Good start. 16!
13.
13, 16 and 4.
Are these 2 dragons, are they a type of dragon or not? Or is it just like...
No, you've seen them on the sigil and you've seen pictures of them. They're small dragons that they've said, and they've said, that's all you know. And they're just supposed to be in the swamp, protecting the swamp as you see them. And as you're walking through, you're keeping an eye out for what's going on. And you get the presence, especially yourself, Saffron, you get the presence that something is moving and watching. But as you're looking around, you're not seeing anything. And it's where you're like, am I just nervous? Am I getting a breath? What's going on? But yeah, you get the feel that something might be out there that is protecting these areas of land as you go through. As then you break through after about an hour or so of walking, you hit the actual deadwood itself. And the deadwood is this. So this is February. It's slight chill in the air. Nice bright day though, no clouds. So it's maybe a little bit colder. You're kind of glad you've got your full leathers and packs on, keeping you warmer on this walk as you go in there. And as you enter into the dead forest, despite there being very little foliage going on, the forest feels alive and feels dark as you enter. You're like, well, there's no tree coverage, there's no like foliage coverage, but as you enter in, the light becomes a bit more streaky, becomes a bit darker as you try to tread your way through.
And so our hunters head out, leaving the safety of Castle Herne with a few trinkets in hand and a 2-day trek in front of them towards the first city, Glamorgana. Join us next time to see how they get on in the Deadwood and their first taste of civilization outside the safety of the castle.